Hey, I'm JR Lay, and welcome back to the Level Up Business Podcast. Today, I'd like to introduce you to Ryan Mitchell for a deep dive into the power of perspective and why the unique wisdom you have as a visionary entrepreneur might be the most underutilized asset in your marketing strategy. Ryan is the co-founder of Wedge, where he is helping brands cut through the noise in a world of commoditized content and AI-generated sameness, AI slop, if you will. So whether if you're feeling stuck in a saturated market trying to stand out, or if you're searching for clarity in your message, this conversation will challenge you to rethink your strategy, help you reframe your voice, and most importantly, rise above the commoditized competition. But first, if you are a visionary B2B entrepreneur who has unique wisdom, like the wisdom that Ryan is going to share with you today, send me a text right now, 832-240-1922, because I want to teach you. I want to teach you how to elevate your brand's influence so that you can increase your revenue by turning video content like the one you're watching right now, into a book that amplifies your wisdom. Now, let's get ready to learn, to grow, to level up together with Ryan. So we're already rolling fresh into this thing, and I was like, we got to hit the record button because you're sharing too much good perspective, which is the whole point of our conversation today. It's about perspective, a point of view, uniqueness, wisdom in an age of AI where you've got all of this artificial intelligence. I'm more interested in what you're talking about here, which is the authentic intelligence, or what you have now framed as your unique wisdom, where I believe unique wisdom equals your unique perspective, which comes from your lived, your learned, your shared experience, that can be further multiplied by your unique method. And your unique method is you've got what you call the wedge. I want to set some context for those watching and listening. Let's roll back a little bit, because you're coming in here with a unique perspective and a unique method. Let's start with the unique perspective. How did you get the unique perspective in the first place?
Unique perspective on just like marketing in general. It comes from being like having marketing agencies and being mainly a performance marketer from from when I started up until now. Like I still do performance, but not a performance marketer per se.
I'm going to say, but for those, because we got a lot of entrepreneurs who are watching and listening to this, what is performance marketing? Does that mean you're going out on the street and you're putting on a show and performing, or?
Yeah. No, I mean, you could. Now that is a creative point of view on performance marketing. However, it's more around anything that's down the bottom of the final 5% of buyers. So ads, Google ads, Meta ads, SEO platforms, anything that is has high intent for someone to buy.
They're in market. It's the 5%.
In market. You're trying to drive revenue performance by capturing that 5% of market.
Like click to close.
Click to close. Buy, click here to buy, or whatever the framing is. And that worked really well 10 years ago. I mean, I was a performance marketer, ads, SEO, most things would be focused on that 5%. But over time, I saw it getting less and less effective. And then obviously 2020 happened. That thing happened. There was that artificial inflation. Performance made a comeback. Companies were spending lots of money on digital. And then, it just started waning, the effectiveness after that. And it kind of just dropped. And then 2022, 2023, people were like, ads are really expensive and people aren't buying from them anymore. What do we do? Right. And it was still the narrative pre-2020. It's just it spiked artificially, then dropped back down again.
It's like, I was a kid growing up in the 80s. I remember at school, you like fake someone out and you'd be like, psych.
Yes.
I don't know if it's a thing in New Zealand, but yeah. So we're on the same page. So yeah, it was like a psych. Like you're just.
It was like a psych, right? But you could kind of see it coming, right? Like we all kind of we were like, oh well, this isn't this is artificial. Obviously, there's a thing happening. Like, let's go with it. And it kind of, I think, it gave marketers in the marketing landscape this lens of we can just spend more money on ads and expect it to work. And then, yeah, man, I realized that lens that I had of just purely performance, wasn't going to take me into the future. I need to upskill and all that and become a better marketer per se. So I decided just to go through the long, painstaking path of actually finding my point of view and finding that framework and understanding what my wedge is, or what my unique expertise is beyond just hey, I'm a founder, or hey, I'm a marketer, right? Because like you need to be differentiated somehow. So if you just
Yeah.
label yourself as the thing too often, you're the same as everyone else. It's good to like categorize yourself sometimes. I'm a founder that does marketing. I own an agency or whatever. But you want to start pulling on those differentiation levers using your unique perspective, um, normally pretty hard and fast, as soon as you can.
Well, and I think that's true for any entrepreneur today who wants to level up their business. That unique perspective, every vertical is commoditized at this point.
Hmm.
And I think
Hmm.
the idea of expertise is even in danger
Hmm.
because expertise, quote unquote, can be gained through any large language model.
Hmm.
That doesn't mean it's wisdom.
Hmm. Hmm.
Wisdom,
Hmm.
once again, comes back from the perspective times the unique method. And I
Hmm.
think that's where we shift the conversation to your unique method, which is the wedge.
Yeah, Wedge. So, I full of great ideas, like most entrepreneurs and founders are. Like, a lot of thoughts running through their head, a lot of ideas. Especially like before I started Wedge, I was like, I genuinely believe that I've got like a secret sauce or a unique brand of expertise or whatever you want to call it, like Wedge. But here I am stuck on tactics. Here I am stuck running ads or stuck, you know, not doing the strategy work or not deploying my way of the way I see the world, and just pretty much being like a task rabbit. Uh, had some agencies, sold some agencies, and then early 2024, I was like, you know what? I'm going to start to work with agency founders specifically because I've been one for so long. I believe I can help them through some stuff, specifically around building offers and helping them sell. So I had like a coaching program, right? Or like it was a cohort-based thing where we were doing our things, and then I realized I was like, you know what? What we're actually doing isn't just offers. We're actually like, I'm helping them understand their audiences and their personas, number one, right? Because marketing, people buy because of their problems. Find the problem, you can build the offer, right? So first is like, I realized that I was having to find, like do persona research and understand problems and pain. And then I was like, you know what? Well, the the product side, and this is what I felt, the product side of what marketers sell. So wedges, I'll rewind. A wedge is three sides: problem, product, point of view, purpose goes in the middle. A wedge is a triangle. When you insert it into a market, it makes space, right? That's what brands are supposed to do. We're not X, we're Y. You can't use AI to do this because we're like this. We're not like Coke, we're Pepsi. Whatever the differentiation piece is, when you've got a wedge and you've got all these sides in the right angle, you can actually put it in the market and make space. And it starts with the problem. So I was helping agency founders understand the true problem that they were solving for people beyond, we want more leads, right? Because like that's like a thing that clients or prospects or business owners or whoever you're selling to will say. But normally it's like there's bigger visceral problems that are more than just like, we want leads. It's like, well, why do you want leads? Well, because our pipeline isn't full. Why isn't your pipeline full? Because we're not posting content, right? So there's always ways that you can understand that.
And I think that's a Socratic point of view because if you think about the Socratic method is essentially asking, well, why? It's the five
Why?
whys,
Yep.
seven whys,
Yep.
whatever it is, because then you keep going further and further and further
Hmm.
down. What's the pain behind the pain? What's the
Yeah.
problem?
Normally it's the identity. It's because there's like three layers, man, right? So you got the emotional pain, functional pain. I wake up and I don't have shoes. This means emotionally, I'm sad because my feet are going to be cold. And this means in my identity, I feel like I don't have strong enough feet because they get cold, right? So these are the layers of pain. Like certain buyers respond to more functional side, and certain
Mhm.
buyers respond to more identity based, right? Programs pretty much speak to the identity base, right? SaaS products will speak to the functional outcome or the workflow or the
Mhm.
functional pain point that they have, right? So that's the first thing. I was helping them understand their audience and define the problem that they were solving. The second was I was helping them actually build different product offerings in line with what the market wants these days. Because the market doesn't want to just buy tactics, and if they are buying just tactics, it's $50 an hour, right? And if you've got an agency or you're trying to build something of something beyond just the $50 an hour time for money thing, you got to
Mhm.
get creative with the product that you're building, right? So the first piece of the wedge is the problem. The second is the product. This product piece is the thing that's getting disrupted the most for agencies and anyone selling marketing services these days is the product piece. These two things fundamentally what set the first two sides of the wedge. And then the third is point of view, right? So that is your unique lived experiences, your lenses on things, your tone on that is gives context to the problem and how your product solves it, right? So that's essentially where your content comes from. Once you know the problem, once you know your product, you've got a point of view. You can create content pillars and like videos and ads or whatever you want because you know you've got a point of view.
See, and that's that point of view, it's that perspective that I'm most interested about with the work that we're doing here at Level Up Business, because that's how you begin to turn video and video content into a book that amplifies the unique wisdom of an entrepreneur. So if you think about your own journey to develop the wedge, the unique method that clarifies what the unique perspective is, your lived, learned, shared experience, what did that journey look like for you? Like, because like you said, it was a painful process. I think were your exact words that you use yourself, because it didn't come overnight. Walk us through what it took to get the unique perspective, to then codify it, visualize it with the methodology. Now the wedge.
For sure, yeah. So like that's on the product side, right? So you're asking about Wedge as the product offering that is sold, right? So this is a piece that I work with a lot of agencies. I have not necessarily as much as I used to anymore. I work with other B2B professionals as well as other brands with my co-founder. But a lot of the time in that product piece it's like from start to finish, what do you do with a client, right? What is a journey? Like, what is your offer? Like if you had one client that came to you and they were like, do anything, we completely trust you. What would you do? What would you do from the start, the very first interaction, and what we do at the very end? I like to frame, and that's what I essentially did. I was like, what do I want to be helping people with from start to finish? And it was a draft. I don't know exactly where it was landing. I was like, I kind of want to help people set up offers over here and do this and sell. But then I also want to help them, run their marketing function or assist in that. And then also train them on how to use AI to do that, right? If we go one step further. But it was a long process, man. It wasn't something that just came overnight. It started as a coaching program. And then I was on calls. I was on client calls and prospect calls. And they kept on saying, Wedge, I want to wedge in. I want this in. I need a way to get in to these conversations. I need a way to make space in the market. Like all of these threads. And then I was just like, you know what? This is what it is. It's a wedge. And then I made a triangle. And I was like, I think I just simplified brand and marketing strategy down to a triangle. And then I wrote about it on Substack and people were just like, yo, like, we want it. And I was like, well, it's only for agencies at the moment. I can't, it's not for sale. I only help with agencies. And then it was once I kind of got that product, like productized service, and I was like, I could talk about this shit till I die, right? It's not just some ad platform that's like tactical. It's not the same as everyone else. It's like, this is Wedge. It's my own proprietary system. People, like, when I show people it, they're just, I want one. I want a wedge. Like, there's just no, there's not a lot of friction anymore, right? But to get to that point,
I'm looking at it from the post from Pete Caputa from about a month ago, and it makes a ton of sense. And I mean, even how you talk about it, and I think maybe that's the point. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it, but it took the hero's journey, essentially. Like it took you to have to go out, leave your known world, go and fight some monsters. Well, let me ask, was the monster that you had to fight, how much of that was yourself and your own beliefs and bias?
Oh, quite a lot, man. Like the own beliefs and bias thing. Like it was definitely, it's anyone that wants to create content, normally the first blocker is what I have to say isn't good enough, so I'm not going to say it. And it's a fair thing, right? So look, man, I've gone through I've probably been writing on LinkedIn for about 2 years, seriously, maybe 3 if you include the early stuff. And at the start, like trying to understand my point of view, it was hard. It was like, I need to tell these like real heartfelt, like sad stories to get attention, and a lot like the crying CEO era, essentially. Do you remember that? When there was like the crying CEO and he posted and people like,
like people would post the picture of them crying. It was But hey, let's take this thing full circle. Is that performative marketing?
I don't know, man. Is it authentic? If you do, we can split hairs, right? But so what I realized is I was kind of like toying with that mode of writing and being authentic that way, and then like last year, I decided to like kind of go fully in and be like, I'm gonna get better at content marketing. I'm gonna really learn like a content platform, which was LinkedIn, and I'm gonna like write a newsletter, all the shit that I actually haven't done because I haven't had to, because I was, what I was offering was slightly different. But then, yeah, the writing was painful. There was a lot of imposter syndrome. There was a lot of this sucks, a lot of like, am I just like adding to this content landfill? Am I just regurgitating shit and just like expecting it to sound important? Am I following the Hormozy playbook where it's just like very talky and very like, I am authoritative and this is what you do and shit? Like there's heaps of these different modes. And then look, last year was great. Mixed of Reddit and LinkedIn, I was able to fill the pipeline and teach a whole bunch of stuff to agencies and work with them. But then I was just like, oh, I'm still not writing content that I find I'm like fully behind in a way. Like it felt kind of. I mean, all content kind of is performative on a social platform. The reason you put it on there is to perform. So we'll just probably get that kind of base layer there. But I was like, I feel like I'm searching too much and trying to come up with, trying to find the angle that just wasn't natural. But it still worked in that mode, like content, if we're talking about pipeline and brand and blah, blah, blah. But I was trying to find that voice, and kind of Wedge was a piece of it. I was like, oh, here's a tangible, like in the middle of funnel or marketing the process piece. I could point people to the Wedge because I'm like, this is the product, very easy to explain. Still wasn't happy, really. And that's when I was just like, fuck it, I'm going to start writing crazy stories.
But here's the thing. You start writing these crazy stories, and I think about a book that I wrote right as that 2020 event happened.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I had a whole chapter about what I call story selling. Because for me, it's like my background before launching Level Up Business was 23 years as an entrepreneur in the financial services world, the banking world. And I remember in 2012, I went to a conference and there was this keynote speaker, and I was just about 5 years into my speaking days. And so they like, you need to tell a better story. I'm like, what does that mean? Because I agree with you. I don't know how to practically do that myself. So I went through 2 to 3 years of kind of like you. I went on this hero's journey of like, what does it mean to tell a story? What are the patterns, the archetypes, etc. And one of the things that I found is like every hero meets a helpful and empathetic guide. They have a problem. And even you mentioned, and so it's like I've been keeping track of problems that keep other entrepreneurs back from hitting submit on a post, from hitting the record button on a video or a podcast, from publishing the book. I don't have time. Like I don't have time for the social media stuff. I mean, how are you making time for this?
When I realized that, like I made a conscious decision to be like, I'm going to upskill. I am going to master this shit. That's like, there was this thing that I said to myself, right? So now when I had like in my head, I was like, I'm going to do this, then the reps come later, because it's like the gym, man. Like it's just the same. Like, the first bicep curl you do is going to be hard, and the 100th is, if you've got some rest in there, it's going to be easier. It's the same thing, man, is making the time. Now, not going to lie, last year, finding the time was hard because AI wasn't actually that good. It was cute, but it sounded like junk, right? As soon as I was like, oh, this is how you use it to write content that doesn't sound like everyone else, that amplifies your voice, that is also helps you kind of create this content, I was like, we are so on right now, because I could finally write hooks and then the stories would write themselves, right? Like I didn't have to sit there and be like, fuck, what am I trying to say? Like, what I'm trying to finesse this thing. Oh, there's no flow. It doesn't work. Like a lot of that heavy lifting is done by, our AI is called Walter. We've got Wedge and Walter. That's like the spirit of embodiment that you create when you take all of our inputs from Wedge and load it into your AI, right? So that's, when I say Walter, that's what I mean is our AI spirit. But like when I realized that it could scale out content when done the right way, I was like, oh, I've got way more time now, right? Like I was like, finally, I've got the baseline of like, the basics of content writing and like the archetypes or like the hooks and the post styles and whatever. And then it was really using like Claude or Walter to help scale that out and get the cadence and keep the progress moving, because it's easy to kind of block yourself, right?
Right. So yeah,
It's
it's
easy to
like
be
the
like,
hardest thing is just getting started. It's like picking up
yeah,
the weight in the gym.
well, yeah, well, getting started with that AI before AI, you do the draft. Like I still draft. Like most of my content isn't completely written by AI. There are some bangers that I've written. I've had to just literally change one word, right? Not gonna lie, but that's few and far between, right? I'm not here to like advertise. Oh, you don't need to think. You just press the button and like you'll write bangers. It's like you still gotta know shit. Like you still gotta know like the rhythm in your head. Like what's the problem?
But that
Oh,
comes back to the unique perspective.
mm-hmm,
And this is the difference between what I would call expertise and wisdom. The
yep,
wisdom comes from living the thing. The
mm-hmm,
expertise, it's
mm-hmm,
like if I wanted to, I could go become a neuroscientist brain surgeon.
mm-hmm,
Doesn't mean that I've ever operated on someone's brain, but
yeah, yeah,
nor would you want me to, for that matter.
yeah.
But okay, so there's I don't have time. The other one I hear a lot is like I don't the world doesn't need another book, and
Mm-hmm,
I'm like it's something that I'm thinking about. It's like there's as an author of 2 books,
mm-hmm,
working on a third one, also working with other entrepreneurs to turn video into a book.
mm-hmm,
I think that to me it's like a leverage thing. It's like I know a lot of people are hung up. It's very hard for them to type and to write and to get their thoughts out of their head. So after running 500 plus interviews on podcasts over the last 5 years since that
mm-hmm,
2020 event, which was just circumstantial, I'm like,
mm-hmm.
there's got to be a book in here somewhere.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Sure enough,
yeah.
you just start interviewing people, but it's
Mm-hmm.
like the world doesn't need another book. Here's one. I don't have a big enough audience.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say to that?
Oh, well, there's only one way to build it. It's to start, right? Like really, like I mean, and on LinkedIn, it's pretty easy to build audiences. You can literally send connections, and that is like they like you connect with someone. It's a two-way connection. It's not like an Instagram where it's only one way. So it's like a pretty low-hanging fruit there just to go in and like connect with people. Don't pitch slap them. Like I don't recommend pitch slapping them unless you've got like, some affinity that you built up with some content or whatever. Um, but you've got to, yeah, connect with people, find the problem that your ideal customer has, write about said thing. That's Wedge, right? Like really at its purest form is find the problems, have products that solve problems, have a point of view that gives context to all that stuff, and then have a purpose that sits in the middle that is why you're doing the thing beyond money, right? So,
Well, what's yours? Because I like that. It's like you got problems,
mhm.
product, point of view, wrapped around a purpose beyond
Mhm.
money. What's your purpose?
Our purpose is just so brand and marketing strategy can be accessible to people so that they can actually do it, right? Because strategy is the thing that makes the difference. Unfortunately, strategy has not been codified in a simple format like a triangle, right? Like you've got blue oceans, you've got category pirates, you've got a whole bunch of kind of strategic lens frameworks that, I mean, I learned a lot of my stuff off that. But my ADHD brain looks at it and goes, this is literally 350 pages of stuff that I probably don't need to read if I want to apply it. Cool, there's some cool learnings in here, but I'm looking for shit that allows me to make rubber meet the road as fast as possible as an entrepreneur, right? So
Hmm.
our purpose is ensuring that brand and marketing strategy can be accessible to people and that they actually do it properly. So they can get an outcome, so they can make space with their brand, right? That's how that whole kind of piece circles together. Because I'm of the opinion that if you don't start to make the space on a brand, you use a word like personal brand, you can use the word founder brand or founder-led brands, whatever. Brand is essentially the perception that someone has about either you or your business, and it's either a perception that makes them go, you're different to someone else or something else, AI, competitor, an alternative, or you're too similar to someone else. And if you're too similar, normally you're commoditized and you can't kind of charge what you want if all you're doing is competing on price.
How does the wedge help someone escape the commoditization cage that I think a lot of entrepreneurs get trapped
Mm-hmm.
in, perhaps unknowingly?
Yep. Well, like a lot of it is the building of said brand equity, right? Like most services are kind of the same. We'll just use it at the lens of like service-based entrepreneurs, right? So you're selling accountancy, law, financial advice, marketing advice, whatever, is like a lot of that. a lot of the advice is like kind of like table stakes, like maybe on the product side, like what you're delivering is pretty similar. It's like analytics, breakdown, recommendation, implementation. Or if you're a financial advisor, it's like a debt roll up or consolidation and whatever. The way that you can essentially differentiate from that stuff, you've got those four segments, man. So each side is a differentiation lever, and then the purpose is a differentiation lever, right? So most people will differentiate, and I think we're gonna have a good combo about this. Will differentiate on their point of view, ignoring the problem, ignoring the product, ignoring the purpose. They just go, we want to create good content, so we want to make creative, cool, different content. A lot of people will pull that lever to differentiate, and it is a way to, but it is not the thing that makes maximum space.
Because it's not just a problem.
It's a piece. It's a piece of the differentiation. It's the bottom of the wedge. Think of a wedge. It's the thing that you hit into the market to drive your wedge. You're actually driving you're actually trying to drive the problem awareness and the solution and your product and how it solves that problem into the market. That's really what you're trying to drive in. And then your point of view is the platform that allows it to get in there. I'm
going to say, let's talk about problems once again, because I'm curious to know how you overcame this. What I hear a lot of times, either A, I don't want to be an influencer because there's some like icky perception tied to that, or B, they're going to think I'm a fraud. I'm going to get found out.
Both.
You?
Require.
Did you do that?
Of course, man. Oh yeah, 100%. And the way I look at my mental chat of like how I felt 6 to 8 months ago may not necessarily be how I would recommend someone get over it. But for me, it's just like a bit of Nike, right? Just fucking do it, man. Like, what do I like? I already made the decision. I was like, this is a channel that I need to do. This wasn't I'll try. This was like, I need to do this because the world's changing. Therefore, I need to keep up, right? So it was like those two feelings. Sure, I was like, okay, I feel this way. It doesn't mean that they're correct, and it doesn't mean that I should listen to them, right? I should just acknowledge them. I should maybe tease them out of it, understand why that's coming up, and just bite down on the mouth guard and fucking throw some hands anyway. Really, man, it's kind of like.
Well, and I think this is the last one, and I think the last one, the solution to the last one, perhaps is the wedge. It's the belief, and that's why I'm really when I saw your writing, I was like, this, and now's the time for this, because we're in a world where commoditization and slop and sameness is just going to get even louder, and people believe, you know what, Ryan, I'm not that unique. I'm not that different. But I'm like, no, you are. You just don't know it. No one's giving you the wedge.
In that case, this is not medical or financial advice. 5 grams psilocybin, ego death. They'll come back a different person. Maybe wanting to write content, maybe not. Like a lot of that shit is limiting belief. A lot of that is the identity-based pain that we're talking about, right? Remember before I said there are essentially like the 3 layers of pain under the problem side is functional. I don't have time to write. Emotional. Therefore, I feel dumb because all my peers are writing, but I'm not. Identity. A lot of this identity, like we were just touching on the identity thing. Therefore, I'm not going to be the entrepreneur that I dreamed I was because I don't feel good enough or I don't whatever, right? So being able to understand like how, and this is part of where we'll build Wedge, is like understanding prospects of like what kind of pain is the most, what category pain is the most important to them first. Like I said, coaching programs, it is pretty much identity-based pain. I'm not the person who I think I should be, therefore I need a coach. Software for like SaaS, on the other hand, is very functional. It's very like, you need to reconcile your Stripe payment to QuickBooks. Here is the thing that fixes it, right? So there's these two ends, right? And this is where the nuance of like, if you are building Wedge, like who you're speaking to. It's like, some people, if they are a coach or have a coaching program, a lot of their buyers are going to be on the emotional side. or the identity-based side. That doesn't mean that they shouldn't have any functional pain and outcomes from their product, right? Like people still want to see the worksheet that they're going to be filling out on a coaching program every week. But that's not the main thing they're going there for. But for SaaS, people want to see the interface and the workflow of the software and how it solves the thing that you're like the process that SaaS supports.
Well, and I think you articulate this, and it's an article that you literally just, I think, published or updated like 2 or 3 days ago.
Yep.
It's right at the very end. And you say, I'm gonna quote you, people choose you. So if you're another entrepreneur and you're listening to this, Ryan's talking to you. People choose you, not just for what you do, but for who you make them become. That's it. It's the future self. It's the self that does not exist just yet. It's there. It's in the ether. But you're the one who's going to help them make them become that. How are you helping these brands? Because you're moving beyond, it sounds like, from the agency space into other areas. How and what are you helping them become?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So we've kind of got like two sides. Like on one side, like we work pretty closely with marketing managers. It's like brands that have a few marketers, right? We're helping them become strategic marketers, right? Like being able to be like, what is the pillar? What are we trying to say? What is the hook? Or what is the tone of this content is more important now than going away with a camera and videoing it and cutting it up, right? Because the message is more important than the actual doing it, because everyone's out there doing it. Everyone's got a camera, everyone's writing. Therefore, the thing that does make space for you is the message and position of the problem, right? So that's how Wedge starts to kind of, you start to enter into the market. So like on one side, we've got the brands. On the other side, a lot of them are founder-led brands, right? Because there's kind of two things. There's like, I am a brand with marketers. I've got a social media person, I've got a marketing manager, and I've got a content director. I am the CEO or the managing director. I've just hired 3 people. They're all really good, but they need to be pointed in the right direction normally, right? It's like, we've got 250K worth of salary. We're kind of getting a bit of bias. We need an outsider's perspective in, someone that's like in the industry. My co-founder, Kim, she comes from like those types of marketing teams, right? So she really spearheads that point of view, the content planning side, the content lenses side, the content platform and purposes side. And I really help spearhead the product side, right? Like, what are you actually selling? Mainly for services. Like, I mean, I like, that's quite ironic. I've taken my expertise, turned it into a productized service called Wedge. What that's done is pretty much been a beacon to other people who want to productize their service and be like, how do I codify my knowledge? And I'm like, well, you fucking do this, man. And then, so I'm helping them on their journey of the products thing. And then my co-founder, Kim, focuses on the content side of it, right? Because it's really what you're selling, what problem it solves, who you're trying to target, what journey they go on from where they are now, journey of transformation. Oh, I'm feeling like X, to where they get in the future. Oh, I'm feeling like Y because I've bought Wedge. So,
well, I mean, and that's, once again, is you think about the hero's journey. It's like, Obi-Wan taught Luke, gained wisdom. Luke then becomes the Obi-Wan to Rey. And so you've taken, and I think that's the greatest opportunity for a lot of entrepreneurs who have been doing what they've been doing for like the last decade, 2, 3. You've got a lot of wisdom. Next step is to find your wedge, package it up, tie it around a purpose. And you have a whole new opportunity for growth that perhaps you didn't even think about a year, 2, 3, 5.
Pretty much. Okay. Yeah. It's all about angles, right? Like entry points, right? And like, obviously triangles like that. You can like trying to find, like, a lot of people ask, like, so like, what does our wedge? Like, it is a one-liner, but the reality is it's all of those sides and the purpose together that makes your wedge. Like, you can't just have a point of view anymore and expect growth or expect an outcome, because you can have a great point of view, but if your product ain't that good, it's gonna show through, right? There is a bit
Mm.
of an exception to like needing it all aligned. Like there's a bit of an exception on the product side. You can like if your product is phenomenal and really and it solves a painful problem, sometimes you don't even need a point of view, right? Like you look at some of the newer tech that comes up. You sometimes don't. If that's your vibe of like you're building some deep tech thing that the world's never seen before and it's a brand new product and it's solving like a very big societal problem, but the only block has been technology, and now you've solved that technological piece. Normally, you don't need a point of view at the start, at least when you're shipping or when you've launched, right? Um,
Mhm.
but most entrepreneurs that are in or founders that are in any service-based business, man, like any B2B business, where knowledge is becoming commoditized, the things you're selling are changing. More and more competitors are starting to make content and write content. That's normally what's happening. They see the competitor make content, like, fuck, we should do that. Oh, but we don't have that style. And it's like, well, you do. There's a reason why people are buying from you, but that information normally sits internal, right? That good stuff normally sits there, and they need to like have that confidence to show it out into the world, right?
Ah, the confidence.
Mm,
Yeah. And I think it comes back to what you were mentioning before. Pick the weight up, do the bicep curl, do the thing, keep doing it.
mm,
As we wrap up here, Ryan, and I really, really appreciate this perspective, this wisdom, this
all good,
this
man.
method around the wedge,
Mm.
because it is so simple. What would you recommend for someone watching or listening to do next when it comes to thinking through their own wedge? Hmm. Hmm. And Ryan, I think that's where I'm so 100% aligned with your unique wisdom. Something that I wrote about in my first book is we got to go all in on people, and all, like you mentioned your ADHD mind. I'm right there with you. It's pattern matching. I can see things that a lot of people, it's, you look for the patterns, and I got a lot of acronyms to remember things. All get really good at asking really good questions. Listen, and then also just learn through the observations, because sometimes people will say one thing, but then their actions, their behaviors don't always match up to what they're saying over here. Yes. Yeah. Yes. It's like holding a mirror. Right. Mm. You're you're reminding me then as we're wrapping up the unique wisdom of Blair Enns, who highly influenced me over the years. He wrote Win Without Pitching, but his diagnose, prescribe, apply, reapply methodology is right there. Ryan, this is so grateful for your unique wisdom you shared today. If someone wants to connect with you, continue the conversation that we've started, what's the best way for them to reach out and say hello? And you've also got a great Substack newsletter too. Yep. Put in the show notes. Connect with Ryan, learn with Ryan, grow with Ryan. Ryan, thanks so much for joining me on this episode, man. I appreciate you, buddy. I want to thank you again for tuning in to learn, to grow, to level up together with Ryan's unique wisdom. If you are a B2B entrepreneur who has unique wisdom, just like the wisdom Ryan has shared with you today, send me a text right now, 832-240-1922. That's because I want to teach you. I want to teach you how to turn video content into a book that amplifies your unique wisdom so that you can elevate your brand's influence, most importantly, increase your revenue.